Hi, this is Shatondra Lister. I am one of the transfer advisors here at Plattsburgh. I'd like to welcome you here today. I am going to be joined in just a couple of minutes with one of our student ambassadors, and she is actually a currently enrolled student. She was also a transfer student. So in addition to the presentation I'm going to do, which is going to talk about academics and student life, as well as kind of next steps in the transfer process, we're also going to touch base with her, and she'll be able to kind of give some insight into her experiences and her transfer process here at Plattsburgh. Feel free throughout the presentation, if you'd like to ask questions, you can type in, and we will answer them live. So at this point in time, I'm going to just jump right into talking about Plattsburgh as a whole. So we originally founded as an education college back in 1889. At that point in time, we had one building, Hawkins Hall, which is pictured in the presentation that you're seeing right now. We have one academic major, education, and we had about 30 students in that incoming class. So you can see from right on the screen that we've come quite a ways. We now spread about 300 acres, 150 which comprise our academic buildings and our residence hall facilities, our classrooms, the other 150 of which is an athletic complex. We also now have just over 5,300 currently enrolled undergraduate students here. And while education is still something that we pride ourselves on, it's something that we have developed over the years. We now have about 60 different majors and minors. They span a ton of different academic disciplines, and there are quite a few different offerings that students have to choose from when they are deciding to make that leap, that decision to come here to Plattsburgh. So right into talking about the academic experience, because it is one of the most important parts of picking a college. You're going to that the student to faculty ratio here at Plattsburgh is 16:1, and the average class size is 22. It's going to really allow you to get to know the faculty in your classrooms. I work with transfer students often, and one of the things that many students are nervous about is kind of jumping right into an academic experience at a completely different institution. Know that you will have that ability to still stay connected with the faculty here, and they will be able to help you through that process. So right now, I actually have our student ambassador, Zoe. She's actually going to jump in with us right now, and she'll kind of be able to introduce herself, and we'll continue talking.
My name is Zoe Tyler. I'm a senior in the graphic design department. I'm originally from upstate New York.
All right. And so I know that you've had a couple of different kind of transfer experiences. Can you kind of talk about where you transferred from?
Yes. So this is actually my third institution. I transferred from Burlington College in Burlington, Vermont, and then I spent another year at Mass Art in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yes. All right. So we'll kind of continue talking about the academic experience, and I definitely want to touch base with that throughout. You're going to find that the academic experience here is rigorous and welcoming. Your faculty want to push you in the classroom, but at the same time, they're there to help you through that transition process. With our professors, 97% of our tenure-track faculty do hold a PhD or a terminal degree within their field, so they are well-suited. They're some of the best in their field to be teaching material that they're working with. So can you kind of talk about some of your academic experiences here?
I definitely can. So right now, I just finished up last semester, and I think one of my professors that talks to a lot of the professors that I like is it was a book class, so it's not required for my specific graphic design classes, but it's kind of an extracurricular. But I was a new student. I didn't know her before, and she took me in and got to know me on a personal level. She got to know my artwork. She's currently writing a reference for me. So she worked with me outside of the classroom as well. I set up a lot of office hours with her, and she would teach me names, and she really was excited that I was excited about the class. So I think a lot of the professors here, it really depends on how much you want to learn. They're willing to teach you what's above and beyond what is actually on the syllabus. They'll teach you as much as they possibly know.
Now we're going to kind of go into talking about hands-on experiences, because those are very important. Know that you're going to be able to take that you're learning in the classroom and being able to use that in a practical way towards the ultimate career that you're looking to choose. So there are a ton of opportunities for students to do here at Plattsburgh. The most popular way in which students will get experiential learning is through internships. Within most of the majors that we offer here at campus, there are going to be a ton of different opportunities. And especially within some programs, it's actually required for students to have an internship in order to get their degree and to graduate with the major that they're in. We also have a ton of lab and practical experiences for students. So if you are biological or physical sciences, you do have the ability to work in state-of-the-art facilities. We have the DNA sequencer, an M&R machine, a ton of different state-of-the-art lab facilities that students can run, both with faculty, and then also some students will work independently as a part of their classroom experience. Students also have the ability to go beyond Plattsburgh and go out in the other countries. We have 500 different study abroad opportunities that our students can participate in, so that everything from going to Canada to going to Australia, New Zealand, China. So there are a ton of opportunities for students to stretch their wings beyond even the United States. We also have a national student exchange program in which students can do a very similar thing to study abroad, except domestically. And then we do have a ton of research opportunities for students. We have many students that are working one-on-one with faculty doing research. Many of those students are taking that research and then ultimately going on to different conferences within the degree that they're interested in, and actually presenting with those faculty members what they've learned. Can you kind of touch base and talk about some of the hands-on experiences that you've had within your program?
So I would consider myself still kind of a recent transfer student. This is only going to be my third semester coming up here. So I get to have a full internship here. But I am an art major, so a lot of our work specifically relates to life things. So instead of in the classroom, us learning the softwares and the material, they bring in real life things. So we work with businesses to make real labels for their products, to make logos. This past semester, we worked with one of the local breweries here, and we made labels for their beer. So we worked with them, the tasting, we had clients and all of that. I was just telling some other prospective students about some of my good friends right now are studying in Nepal. So they're expeditionary study students that are over there with the professor, and they are going on an exhibition. I am applying right now to go to Dingwalls, Ireland this summer. So because we are part of the SUNY system, it gives me access to all of the study abroad part of the SUNY system. So I'm SUNY Portland, going to go to Dingwalls Island, and it's going to fulfill 6 credits, 2 classes for me, so that I'm going to also pick up another minor.
All right. So get to the point of the conversation in which many students ask who transfers to Plattsburgh, and that is kind of a very broad answer, because the answer is really everyone. There are people from pretty much any imaginable walk of life that transfer here to Plattsburgh. There are people who kind of are very traditionally aged students that go right from high school to another institution and then ultimately transfer to Plattsburgh. We also have students who may have taken several years off to raise a family. We have students who have participated or are currently active duty military and are looking to come back to school. There are students from every different walk of life. Our transfer population is a very unique population, just in terms of the students that are represented within it. We bring in over 700 transfer students annually, both the spring semester and the fall semester. So know that you won't be the only transfer student sitting in your class. There are definitely going to be students in the classrooms, in the residence halls, and even in the clubs and organizations that you join. Students are comprised. 80% of our students go to our main campus here in Plattsburgh, but we do have about 13% of our student population at our branch campus, which is in Queensbury. It's right on the SUNY Adirondack campus. Students who are interested in staying in the Capital District area for business administration, psychology, criminal justice, we do have a new RN to BS completion program for nursing. Students have the ability to stay right within a place that they have already been for several years. I'm going to transition into talking about campus life and living on campus because that is an opportunity that's afforded to all of our transfer students. So residence halls, we have 12 residence halls that are represented, everything from high-rise to low-rise. We have style. We do have 2 upperclassmen housing options, McDonough Hall and Harrington Hall. And 60% of our transfer students choose to live on campus for at least a semester. It's definitely something that many of our students want and are asking about. And I know that, Zoe, you lived on campus. So can you kind of talk about your experience?
I would recommend for any transfer student on campus. For me, it was a really good experience. It's really important when I came here that I was a part of the community and I was part of the campus, and I think living in my residence hall kind of forced me into that role. I came in the spring semester, which some would say is kind of hard. Everyone is already living in places for a semester and things are kind of already in a groove. I was very nervous. I came to my residence hall. The first night there, my RA knocked on my door and he introduced himself and he invited me to a floor meeting. So I got to know people on campus, and then throughout the semester, it became your home away from home. So because I was here and so close to campus, I met people, I ate in the dining halls, I was very close to clubs and organizations, and it really helped my transition here living on campus.
All right, and we go and move on. I kind of also want to talk about student life as well, because it's an important part of the experience here. Know that we have over 100 different clubs and organizations that students can join. That's everything from academic clubs to intramural and club sports. We have our student association in which students can become a part of, and those are all opportunities that any student has to participate in here at Plattsburgh. I definitely want to touch on that because I know that Zoe is super involved, as always feels like has something new on her plate. So can you kind of talk about some of the things that you're involved in and opportunities that those have presented for you?
I most definitely can. We all kind of laugh, but I really enjoy that I'm able to be a part of so many things here on campus. It really kind of shaped my experience. So part of the Plattsburgh Association of the Visual Arts called PAVA. I'm also the secretary of the Ski and Snowboard Club here. I'm Environmental Action Committee. I work for the Global Office. I forgot something too. And for those, they taught me things I wasn't necessarily going to learn sitting in a classroom, particularly the Ski and Snowboard Club. We're a fairly new club to campus, so we've had to overcome a lot of hurdles, everything from getting people to know our name to we had a budget for our first time last year. So we've really grown as a club. We had our first rail jam, so we brought outside businesses in. And for me, that's taught me a lot about working in a professional setting. So I've learned how to talk with outside businesses and to how to manage the budget and how to execute a large event, which I don't think I ever really would have learned not having that experience. I also work on campus, which I think is a great experience for me. It is teaching me a lot of professional skills that I know I'm going to need in the future. Here in a lot of faculty that I know are supporting me and are teaching me a lot of skills that I wouldn't learn otherwise.
So given that you are kind of the expert at getting involved, can you kind of talk about kind of some of the tips or advice that you would have for a new transfer student coming in to get involved, or anybody that might be nervous that they won't be able to do that when they're here?
So I also kind of joke, but I'm very serious about it when I give tours that I tell everyone to go to the involvement fair. Every semester, all the clubs and organizations get in one big ballroom, and the representative, if not 2 or 3 from every club, are very excited to meet you. For me, I went there and I just started introducing myself. I told people my story. I told people where I was from. Before I knew it, I was a part of all these things, and I had friends, and I knew faculty members, and it was great. The biggest piece of advice would to jump. I know it's going to be scary and it's going to be hard, but I guarantee you people here are very friendly. Lots of people have been in the same situation you are. So telling people your story, hi, I'm Zoe, I'm a new transfer student, really opened a lot of doors for me. Some of my best friends here are transfer students as well. So one of my best friends, Kevin, he was a transfer student from a community college. He heard I was a transfer student and he invited me to the mountain. He invited me to ski and snowboard club meetings, and next thing I knew, I had one of my best friends.
So then going into talking about different requirements and scholarships, and just kind of talking about the different opportunities that students have here, should they decide that they want to enroll in Plattsburgh. Typically looking for a cumulative average of about a 2.6 to a 3.4. So with that, we want all of the transcripts from any institutions that you've taken once you graduated from high school. So if you took any credit as a high school student, we don't need that for the initial review of your application. We would just need anything once you graduated from high school. Of the different materials that we'd need, recommend a letter of recommendation, a personal essay. Those aren't necessarily required for every major. So if we need it, we will specifically request it for you. But definitely send in the transcripts, and then from there we would request any additional materials. Also, if you have less than 24 credits, we would also need to review you based on your admissibility as a freshman, an incoming freshman student as well. So please send us your high school transcript and your SAT or ACT scores. And know that each major has slightly different requirements. There are certain GPA requirements for some majors. Student majors need different course requirements in order to be completed. And then there are several programs in which there is additional review process to be brought directly in to a certain portion of the major. So if you do have any questions and you're curious about what your major may entail or require, you can go right to our website. So if you go to plattsburgh.edu/admissions/transfers, then that will give you a ton of information about the requirements that we have. So in terms of lines, we are enrolling in admission, meaning that we're pretty liberal in terms of when your application materials need to get to us. We are still currently accepting applications for the spring semester. So if you are potentially looking to come in for the spring, we'd encourage you to get that application into us as soon as possible for best consideration. But typically, in terms of our preferred deadlines, we're looking for the fall semester around March 1st, and for the spring semester, usually around November 1st. We are also presently packaging for financial aid. I know that that's definitely an important factor when students are ultimately choosing to come to school. So for both the spring and the fall semester, we are currently distributing financial aid packages. So for the fall semester, we encourage students to put in their FAFSA by December 15th. For the fall semester, it would be November 1st. Then from that, usually around the middle of October for spring students, and around the middle of December for fall students, we will be financial aid packages. And the last step would be that big national deposit deadline, which saves your spot within the major that you're looking at. So for fall students, it's May 1st. Then for spring students, the preferred is December 1st. And then if you're accepted after December, it's 30 days after the actual admissions decision. So once you put in your application for admission with us, then once we put out an acceptance letter for you, we would then first do a preliminary credit evaluation. So that estimates the amount of credits we expect for you to receive, and that's based on the classes you've already completed, and then also based on the credits that you're taking. Once you have decided to pay a deposit, that's when an official credit evaluation would be done. We review any of the credit that you've taken. That's also when you would want to send in any credit you took in high school. So if you took AP, IB, or CLAP, send at that time, so we can also put that into your credit count. So we can transfer a maximum of 67 credits from a 2-year institution and a maximum of 84 credits from a 4-year institution. We can do 30 credits by exam, so that's things like AP or CLAP or Dante's. And then we can also review any joint military transcripts that students would have taken. So if you have been in the military, send us those transcripts, send us any transcripts that you took with like the Community College of the Air Force or the Navy, and we'll review that credit as well. So when I'm talking about credits with students, one of the things I really like for students to know, especially if you're still taking classes or you're looking to transfer to future semester, is really focus on taking those SUNY general education requirements, especially if you're a part of SUNY school. You can go to academic advisor or the transfer office at your campus and figure what you have left to satisfy those general education series. With it, that satisfy the general education series prior to enrollment here at Plattsburgh, it leaves you from the Gen Ed series with the exception of our Global Issues course. So it does save you some time, saves you some coursework. So I definitely recommend students that are able to do that really focus on completing that. So talking about transfer credit, I'm going to pass back over to Zoe. So with your credit, how did you find that process?
Being transferred before, I was really pleased at the transfer process into here. They did accept most of my credits, and for me, what I was the best was that they told me why not things transferred. So I've taken credits in high school. I took credits at a private school. I took credits in an out-of-state public school. So I have all different credits from pretty much the situation you can imagine, and they worked with me. So I actually came into the office before I was a student, and they sat down with me and they explained things to me. It wasn't a black and white thing. They told me why things were the way they were, and because I'm an art student, sometimes I needed a portfolio or they needed to see my work from other classes to make sure I was getting what I needed to get. So they didn't just take it so that I could graduate on time. They took it because it was what I needed. So for me, I am very happy with all the credits they took. They did take most of them. They definitely don't want to force you to be here longer than they need you to be, but they want you to get the best education you can.
Point to make, because there are certain students who have those questions. They may have taken a class at their community college that was a 100 level course, and they're wondering, it's very similar to a 400 level course here. The reality is we don't sometimes accept those credits because based on kind of the progression and what classes you really need to take in order to be successful in the major and having that credit at the 400 level, sometimes we won't take a credit. So I made a good point in that no is not necessarily no forever or, completely. There are times where we might not accept a credit right up front, but if you appeal that credit, we may ask for additional information. We may reach out to the faculty. The faculty may want to see additional information just to make sure that the credit that you're taking is set up for the best success here at Plattsburgh. So that was definitely a good point that you brought it up. All right. The next step would be obviously course registration. That's definitely an important part of making sure that you know the classes that you're going to be taking. Kind of depending on the semester depends on what that course registration process looks like. Coming in for the spring semester, we don't have a summer or an orientation session. What students will do is that once their credit evaluation has been completed, we'll send you your information, which has the contact information for the chair academic department. You'll then reach out with them and they'll help you with that registration process. For most students that can be done online, but students can talk to them over the phone, and some students even will meet in person. So it's really whatever you and your department chair find is the easiest way to register. In addition, the day before classes start, there is an advisement and registration session. So it is helpful for any students who are last-minute transfers who are coming in, but also if you have any questions that you may want to reach out to the chair of your department prior to actually starting the semester, you have that ability to do that as well. Our online orientation session information that will come to you from our academic advising office. So that is there to help you through that process, both academic advising, your department chair, and even here in the admissions office, we can help you through that process. For those coming in for the fall semester, we do a summer orientation session that students can participate in. There's in June and one in July, and they're both exclusive to transfer students. So students can come in, they meet with a faculty member, they will register for courses. You'll also get to meet other students that are going to be enrolling for this semester. You would take any placement exams that you have to do, and all the other departments are open on campus. So if you have any questions for student accounts, or if you have a question about a credit, you can pop up our office and we'll answer any questions for you so that when you start the semester in August that you're ready to come. All right, so at this point in time, we have reached the end of our presentation. I'd like to thank Zoe for spending some time with us today. And if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach here, our office. You can definitely give our admin's office a call, email us. So we'd be to kind of continue the conversation with you if there's anything else that you need from us. But thank you and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.